Welcome to Win the Day from Back to the Bible. I'm your coach, Pastor Nat, and today we're going to walk with Jesus. My family loves a good magic show. We've been able to see some of those local magicians, but we've also been able to see some of those top-tier illusionists. Those ones who perform incredible illusions. We just don't believe it. It's amazing the things that they can pull off. But at the end of every show, we say, okay, how do you think that they did that trick? In other words, we know that it was fake. It wasn't real. It was just an illusion. Many people today view Jesus' work and his reputation, his life, as just a performance, just like the illusionists that we see. But should they? Let's turn to John chapter 2 as we continue our study of the book of John. We're going to look at John chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. Now, this is likely a very familiar passage to you. Jesus and his disciples, likely Peter, John, the writer of this gospel, Philip, Andrew, and Nathanael, are attending a wedding with Jesus' mother Mary. So let's actually pick it up now in verse 3. When the wine ran out, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "Woman, what does this have to do with me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Now there were 6 stone water jars there for the Jewish rites of purification, each holding 20 or 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water," and they filled them up to the brim. And he said to them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the feast." So they took it. When the master of the feast tasted the water, now become wine, and did not know where it came from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew, the master of the feast called the bridegroom and said to him, "Everyone serves the good wine first, and when people have drunk freely, then the poor wine. But you have kept the good wine until now." This, the first of his signs Jesus did at Cana in Galilee, and manifested his glory, and the disciples believed in him. After this, he went down to Capernaum with his mother and his brothers and his disciples, and they stayed there for a few days. The wedding party runs out of wine. Now, this to us today seems trivial, but in an honor-shame culture, this was a big deal. Weddings were really long ordeals, and for a family to provide food and wine for many days, this was a huge burden. So to run out was not going to help their value in the community. This was a really big deal. So Jesus' mother asked Jesus for help. And when we read Jesus' response, it seems kind of cold. It seems rude. But when you understand what's going on, it's not. There really is not a good English word or expression to capture what Jesus is saying. The word that Jesus uses here is the same word that he would use when addressing Mary from the cross. It is both formal and respectful. It's also very caring. You see, he reminds her that his mission was to be the Messiah. He would prove his identity in his teaching and his actions. That's true. It's here we see Jesus' first recorded miracle. He turns the water into wine. Friend, this was no illusion. The jars were filled with water to the brim. Upon delivery of the wine, it was the very best, not watered down junk. It was a miracle, and that is the point. Jesus was not an illusionist. He was God in the flesh. This was evidence of his identity. Now, it is worth noting that there is likely more going on here. The ceremonial water for cleansing was just that. It was ceremonial. It had no soul-saving power. But Jesus came. Jesus came to shed his blood for our sake. No show, no illusion, real forgiveness, real salvation. That's Jesus. So my challenge for you today is to believe. John wrote this gospel so that we might believe in Jesus. Jesus didn't come to wow us. He didn't come for the greatest show on earth. He came to save people from their sins. I believe this. Do you?